Well, today is 11/11, Veterans Day, and we're here to support people who have been incarcerated and also programs to support programs that help people who have been incarcerated. And Saul, welcome. So we want to give the floor basically to the new folks, but we're going to quickly take 30 seconds and just say a little bit who we are so you guys know who you're talking to. And Pei, could you put a timer for, you're muted, but the people that are not
Do the
muted,
timer. Yeah,
you can.
I can.
So with the exception of, that's going to be Dave, Saul, Tomas, and Lee. We're going to have you go at the end. And we're going to just tell for 30 seconds who we are and why we're here. And then we'll give you a couple minutes and then we'll launch and then we'll come back to you and give you much more time. All right, so 30 seconds for me.
Just a minute, Neil.
Sure. And Dana, welcome.
Okay, ready.
Karen, welcome. Okay.
Okay.
Well, my name is Neil Abramson. I was incarcerated over 50 years ago for a year and a half when I was a juvenile delinquent. And I started this group based on a landmark program I did called the Team Management and Leadership Program. You don't have to know about that, but if you're interested, I'll be glad to tell you more. I think that's it for now. I'm excited that we're putting on a conference. We're committed to have 300 people attending, and we just broke the 100 person mark. Thank you. And I'll call on Denny.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful, great. Hi, folks. I'm Denny Doran. I'm a fine artist. I live in Dallas, Texas. I've never done time, but my best friend and my ex-business partner has done time. He was going to join us here tonight, George, and he broke his arm yesterday, and he's on his way to LA for surgery in the morning. So George is really looking forward to this, but I'm here as a function of Neil's invitation, and I love the work that we're doing here. Welcome to everyone this is your first time here.
So you got to call on someone, Denny, besides the new folks. We'll save them to the end.
Karen Johnson.
Oh,
Got 30 seconds,
y'all
Karen.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
You did. Yes.
Now what are we doing? Introducing ourselves?
30 seconds, yep.
Karen Johnson. I live in the San Antonio area, and what else?
Where is San Antonio?
San Antonio's in Central Texas, kind of in the center, toward the center anyway. The reason I'm interested in all of this is because of my son, and he was incarcerated for about 2 years, I guess it was. And that's how I got interested. So,
Gotta
and I'm
call
glad
on-
to be here.
Thanks, Karen. You got to call on. Could you call on someone?
Let's see. How about Mark?
All right, before I start, who's on the iPhone? Can I have your name so I can rename you? Can you come off mute and let us know who you are?
Is that Eric's brother? iPhone, are you Eric's brother? Maybe they can't hear. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. I'm Mark Melmoth. I'm the CFO and webmaster for the Prisons to Partnership. I'm here because I've always felt that the prison and correction system needed to be reformed or changed. And I never knew how to do it until I met Neil this summer, and he inspired me to become part of this group. And go ahead, Denny.
Oh, Denny went.
Oh, all right, Dana, your turn.
Okay, thanks, Mark. I'm Dana Nickerson, and um, I was getting myself together for this little 30 seconds, and I realized that since I've been a part of this group, my involvement around supporting recently released people has evolved. So when I joined the group, I was mentoring formerly incarcerated women at Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. And now I am executive director of Long Beach Black Workers Center, and my focus is on creating career pathways for released.
Annie, you get to call on somebody. Thank you.
Okay, I call him Peg.
Hi, I'm Peg, and I'm so excited because Tomas is here. He's the manager of the Occupational Mentor Certification Program, which trains lifers to be drug and alcohol counselors. And he's extraordinary. So I'll let him speak about this incredible program. They are the best drug and alcohol counselors on the planet. So anyway, that's it.
But before he goes away, I got to call on people that are already in the group. Thank you. So you
Yeah, I
guys-
know.
Okay.
Tracy.
Thank you, Peg. I am very excited because my friends Lee and I think iPhone, who you just went off camera. I think you're Eric's brother. Anyway, I am committed to prison reform, to people in prison, people out of prison, doing whatever I can do to create a transformation. And I'm going to call on Judy Flattery.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, I'm Judy Flattery. I'm in Santa Barbara. I'm committed to being an advocate for those who are incarcerated and those who have been released from incarceration. And I did a conference a couple of years ago, created one with other groups in Southern California. The lead for the speaker for the conference team we're putting together. I spent this weekend at CMC, the California Men's Colony Prison. Next week, 4 days in Calipatria. In the past 18 months, my husband and I have been in how many? 13 prisons, Dave? Volunteering with various groups. And he'll correct me if that number is wrong. Thank you.
I think the
And
last,
I'll call on Tony.
Hi, yeah, my name's Tony Villano. I've been involved with restorative justice for about the last 4.5 years, and I just found out about this group from Peg, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the conference coming up. And I'll call on Dave.
Thanks. Yeah, so my name's Dave Flattery. I'm Judy's husband, and as she mentioned, we do a lot of work in prisons. It has become a focus of what we spend our lives doing, is working to make a difference so the guys are in better shape while they're in there, and they're in better shape when they come back out here. And I'm just recently joined the tech team, so that's why I'm here.
great. Thank you. Well, now, Dave, let's give everybody 2 minutes and just a quick introduction. Then we're going to come back around to everybody that's new. But let's just get maybe like 4 minutes. Do 4
What,
minutes.
you want 4 minutes for them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm ready.
All right. So, Dave, you want to pick somebody?
I'll pick Tomas.
Good. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be amongst very, very respectable individuals, as I understand, right? So, as you know, my name is Tomas Martinez. I served 42 years in prison, 26 years in solitary confinement. I was released in March of 2023. While incarcerated, I was educated by Options Recovery Services to be a SUD counselor. So I am currently a certified SUD counselor and a graduate of the what was formerly known as the Offender Mentor Certification Program and is now known as the Occupational Mentor Certification Program. It's a program, like I said, that is options recovery services, goes into prisons and educates people and certifies people as drug and alcohol counselors with the approach to uh, battle recidivism and the overdose in prison, right? So peers helping peers. I happen to be released. I'm currently the program manager here at the Academy of Hope. What it is a reentry transitional home that houses OMCP graduates. So those that are graduating and coming out, I'm the program manager of that home that helps them assimilate and into society in a successful way. We're also utilizing those mentors as violence preventionists. So we're giving them additional training into our program, which is called Youth with Options. I am the head of that program, and we're battling violence in Oakland, California, a very lawless and crime-infested community here in East Oakland. Uh, so yeah, so I'm also a trained a life coach and transforming lives. And like I said, I'm a violence preventionist. I hope I didn't go over my time.
No,
Yep.
you still have time, Tomas.
So I did. All
You
right.
can
So
tell them
yeah,
how
so
many schools you're in and everything.
yeah, so I work in the schools here in Oakland. I'm in Oakland Tech. I'm in the Street Academy of Emiliano Zapata on the 29th Street in Oakland. I'm also in Berkeley High School. We're just starting a program in Berkeley High School. We got an office there in Berkeley High School, and trying to battle drug addiction there as well. So really, those are our focuses. The mentorship program, drug and alcohol problems in high schools, and mentoring the youth, trying to divert them from committing violent acts here in Oakland. I'm also a trained violence interruptionist, but however, that works a little bit more dangerous than I like to be involved in, right? So I stick with the prevention over the interruption. But God bless those that are working in the interruption. Just a really amazing work that these guys do. And really, I tip my hats to those people. So using my life experiences to change lives. I know firsthand, serving 42 years in prison, that change is possible, right? And so really, I commend those that are doing the hard work. I commend each and every one of you who are obviously involved in the changing of lives and supporting those that are coming out. I mean, I couldn't have done it without the support of many, many people, Peg included, of course. I couldn't be where I'm at today, doing the work that I am today, without the help of many, many. I mean, like the community and options recovery services, my higher power at the top, and options recovery services all throughout my change.
Thank you.
I also just want to mention he was part of that group that did the hunger strikes in Pelican Bay that stopped solitaire. So anyway.
How long were you in solitary again?
I was in solitary confinement for 26 years in Pelican Bay. Yeah, I just finished moderating the showing of the film Strike at the Roxy in San Francisco.
Wow. Thank you. Would
Yeah,
you
thank
call
you.
on someone? It would be either Saul or Lee.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, Saul.
4 minutes.
How you doing? It's pronounced Sol, S-O-L,
Oh,
like the
I'm
sun.
sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, it's okay. Most people say Saul. That's just even people I work with. So, but I myself, I've been locked up. I don't know how many times, I can't even count. I've never been to prison, but I'm like this far away. Was this far away? I'm gonna say was this far away from going to prison. And I've been in. I don't know if you guys know what a workhouse is, but that's like right underneath the. But so my whole thing is that I started this holistic approach in learning about myself that I want to teach to people because it changed my whole perspective on how we're programmed as human beings. From the things we see, the things we watch, the communities we're in, the families we're in, and it changed my life because I believed I was supposed to be a criminal. Like viscerally inside of my being, I believed that I was supposed to be a criminal. And this last time I went to MRT, I don't know if you guys know what that is, moral reclamation therapy, and it's for criminal and substance abuse, but mostly criminal behavior. And it really opened up my mind where I started studying ancient teachings and Eastern philosophy and all that stuff. So I from a holistic approach, I was able to understand how I was made, how I operated, and why I thought the way I did. And so then I reverse engineered all that, and I in Golden Rule here in Ashland, Oregon. I teach to reentry people this science of spirituality, identity mastery, a self mastery, and because I really believe there's a lot of us out there, if we really understood how we were created and made and developed and how we think and how our body operates and the physical sensations and the stories that we put to these physical sensations, they drive our behavior. If we could get a holistic approach to how we are, then we can determine who we are. So my whole goal is to empower people and help them remember that they have the power to be whatever they want, and they don't necessarily have to take on the programming that they've had their whole life. And it's my mission, and it's not only for because I've been involved in the criminal justice system and in treatment my whole adult life. I is kind of where I've been gravitating to, but I think everybody, it's not just the people that are locked up that need this, it's their families, it's their neighborhoods, it's everything. That's why it's a holistic approach. And I want to introduce some ideas and programs that could be put in place to change just our whole societal outlook on what it is to be involved in the criminal justice system. If that makes sense.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, maybe you could tell them where Golden Rain is.
Golden Rule?
Rule, yeah.
Yeah, it's in Medford, Oregon.
Yes.
But I spent most of my life in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I even removed myself from there in order to get clarity in how I want to move forward in life, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
right now I'm living in Ashland, Oregon, which is kind of weird.
I think we'd want to mention that Sol is going to be one of our conference speakers, so we'll get to hear a lot more from him when he speaks at the conference in less than 2 weeks. And thank you, Sol, for being willing to do that.
Oh yeah,
Share your
it's amazing.
story.
I feel like it's a privilege.
Thank you.
And I guess Lee is the last person to share. Lee, would you mind unmuting and sharing for 4 minutes?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I don't know what's going on. I guess I'm sort of new to this here, but I was invited by Tracy Hunt, a friend of mine, like she said, we're friends. My name is Lee Goins. I go by the name Timbuktu. Timbuktu, I'd rather be called because it identifies who I am, the new person. I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, got involved in crime at a very young age. I had all kind of role models, my older brothers and them. During the time I grew up, you had to, know how to fight and stuff. And there was things that kept me moving the direction I'm going, and I never shared about it. For instance, my thing was the white man didn't work for this country. Why should I? And that's one of the things that was leading me to become vulnerable to the wrong role model. So I got involved in crime at a very young age, and I became violent, and that's the way it was growing up then. But also what kept me going for so long, the fact I had to deal with racism, which had developed a particular type of anger in me, while also keeping in mind that Black people wouldn't be free from slavery, it wasn't for certain white people. So I kept that in mind, that all white people wasn't racist. When I ran into people that was racist, I dealt with them with violence. The first time I did time was as a juvenile. I did time in Louisiana Penitentiary in Golda. And when I came to California, to change my life around. But when I came to California, I started experiencing racism, and that put me back into my criminal activity. I was released from San Quentin on March the 8th, 2019, after serving almost 33 years. And I never thought I would get out of prison because I was what they call an habitual criminal. And not only that, habitual criminal, my case involved a lot of politics. I was accused of shooting a police officer, a black man accused of shooting a white police officer, and the parole board was really denied me because of that particular reason. And then, while I've been level 4, I've been to all them places, Pelican Bay, did 2 Pelican Bay shoot, new folks. I've been to the worst prison you name, and everybody know me as Timbuktu because I had a reputation of being violent. I came into the prison system violent, and I continue being violent. But what changed me around, or what caused me to change my life around, I started realizing guys in the prison system not playing the game the way it used to be played. It was people snitching on me when I get away with stabbing somebody. So the last time I was in Pelican Bay shoot, I made the decision to change my life around. And I said, if I ever hit the line again, I'm cutting everybody loose. And when I do, y'all, so I did hit the line again. And I wound up going to a high desert. And that's when I started changing my life around. It's easy for me to do because I already had my reputation. And some guys come to know me, they homeboys, I tell them, man, that's Timbuktu. Get fooled by Timbuktu, boom. But so I changed my life around. And one of the things that made me change my life around, my youngest brother, he say, you ain't gonna never get out of prison, you can at least change your life around. So I changed my life around, my behavior. Everybody leave me going to level 3, so I got out of level 3. Then they changed the prison sister points, and I wound up in San Quentin and become part of the 1,000-mile club because they run marathon on the street. And thanks to people who comes into the prison system, like Tracy and other people, let me know how people care about me and how important it is for me to care about myself. So to make a long story short, I had to ask myself, do I love myself the way I was going? No. Was I happy the way I was going? No. Because my life was going round and round in a circle. And many times I cried, in prison to myself. And I made the decision to do what's right. In order for me to do what's right, I had to start taking all that energy or power I put into doing wrong to put it into doing right. And that's how I walked it. The last time I was in level 4 prison, that's how I walked it. And I said, now if I come to a point that I got to remind somebody I still put my foot in the air, then I'll do it. But then I stood on the path, knowing that, I need to change. I wasn't happy the way I was living. And ever since that, I've been happy with my new life. Happy even more, even though it's not easy, but I refuse to go backwards. Like I said, they don't play the game like they used to play in prison. They snitch on each other. And my thing was, there was I think you don't cross the line, but snitching is in now. So I'm free from all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm out here now, I do things to help people. I see somebody finna do harm to somebody crying, I stop them. And so your example, like the cruise or the pilot vehicle, I come down when driving the shuttle bus, I come down the street at night, I see some tennis shoes, and also I see a body underneath the cruise car, and I told passenger, I gotta stop. I see a body underneath the car, and people just standing around like it's a movie, and nobody didn't help this person. So I helped this person, and because of that, everybody said I saved this person's life. And then later on, the news did interview on me, had on news and stuff like that. The point I'm trying to make, I always care about people. And it just amazed me how people don't care about people. And
I'm gonna stop you there, Lee, but I got it. Thank you for caring and changing your life. You want to finish your statement? I didn't mean to cut you off right in the middle of a sentence, but anything you want to final say about that?
Well, I want to heard for time that I'm just proud to be a different person now, all because of people who comes into the prison, show they love. And I'm proud to be where I'm at right now. No turning backwards.
Yeah, no turning back. Well, you brought up a lot of.
Oh, sorry, Nan. I was just going to say that Lee mentioned the 1,000 Mile Club, and there's a movie about it, 26.2 to Life, Markel the Gazelle and all the guys in the 1,000 Mile
He
Club
is
at
in the
San
movie.
Quentin.
He is
And
in,
if you haven't seen it, yeah, see it. What'd you say, Tracy?
he is in the movie. Lee.
Oh, you're in the movie?
In the
Oh, I
movie.
got to watch it again then. Okay. Sorry, Lee.
Thanks.
It's a great
Well,
movie.
yeah. What I'd like to do for the next like 30 minutes is, and welcome Jason and James.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
No, it's fine. Thank you for joining. Well, first, before we do anything else, I want to do a
Do you want
plug.
them to introduce themselves, Neil, Jason, and James?
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead. Would you do that? Just, you got to do it within 30 seconds though.
I'm Jason. I live in Houston, Texas, and I serve in prison ministry mentoring in Texas state prisons. It's good to be here.
Thank you. James, you're muted.
I'm James. I'm on the board of the directors of Another Way to Go program, formerly the End Violence Project. We deliver programs in prisons and halfway houses that help folks to become leaders in their community.
Thank you. And I'm going to do a quick plug. I want to, just for our conference. And then, I was thinking, James, maybe you could do a quick, just a quick plug for Another Way to Go. Just show them, the website if you want to. But I'm going to show you, I'm just going to show you two things. Then we want to come back and we want to really listen to you guys in more detail, the new folks that have joined us. And I'm showing you this. Am I sharing my screen? No. Let me make sure I share my screen. I really want you guys to show up at our conference because you're going to make a big difference. This is one flyer, kind of like the red colors, but you could see there's Seoul right here on the right. And if you take a picture, I think you could do it from your screen. If you have a smartphone and you take a picture, it will take you right to the registration page. Or you could register you could copy this link. Well, this will take you to our home page, and then you would have to go to.
Put it in the chat. He put the individual event
Put the
registration link in the
put the link
chat.
in the chat.
Thanks. Yeah, so I'm going to stop share. I want to encourage you because you guys will make a big difference for the people at our conference. If you can make it, even it's all day from 9 a.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. And I know that's a lot for a lot of you, but we have great speakers. Sol is one of our speakers. We're going to hear more from him. But it would make such a difference so people know you guys, I think it's fair to say you are in the minority. Anyone who's turned their life around is in the minority. And more people need to see that it's possible, Lee, Sol, and Tomas. People need to know your story. And you will get a chance, even though we have our speakers selected already, you will get a chance in breakout rooms to share. Did you want to share, James, Another Way to Go?
I'm more than happy to, yeah. So let me do this way, and we can do.
Because I want to show you his organization too.
Yeah.
And they've been generous and donated money. I'll shut up right now, but go ahead.
So the Another Way to Go program has been in existence since the 1990s. It brings transformational thinking into the prisons. And our founder's idea was, if we can create leaders in prison, what better vehicle for transforming the communities when they leave prison and go back out? So our core program, the Another Way to Go program, is an 18-week program. It's completely self-selecting. People volunteer for it. It's led by volunteers. And it's made a profound difference to the way people think about themselves and who they are, even in the constrained environment of prison, right? I'll scroll down here a little bit. So please, another way to go, program.org, go visit it. Ricardo, we have a little video of him here, will be speaking, and he's just recently joined our board of directors. 7-8 years ago, he was in prison, life without parole, came to our program, did our program, then coached our program 6 times, right? Had an opportunity and was released completely out of who he was being, and has been out for about a year now. And he'll be sharing his story at the conference. And we're in a space of expansion. We're really looking to grow the program and connect and we're talking with groups in New Zealand. So even beyond the United States, we've led the program in Jamaica. We've led it in about 5 states, and we're looking to expand into New York and talking with some folks in California. So really looking forward to supporting this conversation. The conversation that we're having at Prisons to Partnership is core to who we are as an organization, and we really felt strongly that we wanted to support this and make connections and network. And so there's going to be a lot of the people involved in Another Way to Go attending, and we hope to meet more like-minded people, right?
Thanks, James. Well, I want to give before we open it up to Tomas, I really want to hear, I want to hear what it's like now being outside, and maybe we'll have other people ask questions. Lee kind of hinted at the challenges, but before we do that, I just want to hear a little bit from Jason, what he does, so you could get a sense of what he's been doing. Could you do it in like 2 minutes, Jason? Yeah, you could.
Sure. So as I opened with, so I serve what I essentially prison ministry mentoring, and I would add to that, it's reentry focused mentoring. So I work with men who are about a year or less from seeing a parole board and help them to begin to put together a plan for what it's going to be like should they be approved and should they walk out the gates. And obviously that starts with some of the most basic things you think of: getting a job, finding housing, and even reintegrating back into the fold sort of with your family and rebuilding those relationships. Now, as I open with as well, I am a prison ministry guy, so which means that my organization is faith-based, Christ-centered. However, I do work with, am open to working with men of all faiths, as long as a positive relationship can be established. I will help anyone, no matter what their faith background is. Well, of course, I'm going to share my beliefs. I am here to serve, and in a sense, I think that's about my time, right? That's what I do again out here in Texas.
Thank you. Well, why don't we start back up with what was the order we did before with the new folks? Tomas and Sol and Lee, and that's pretty much, and just yeah, I don't know if people have specific questions, but mine is kind of general. I guess would be 2 parts. I have a lot of questions, but like what do you think? And Lee kind of spoke about it already, but what had you decide to change directions, and what's it like outside now? What's like really, what are the challenges? Can we start with that, and then if there's time, we'll let everybody ask their questions, but we are going to end at the top of the hour for this part. So Tomas, would you mind share?
No, not at all. I wouldn't mind starting us off. What triggered me to change was I was in prison from the age of 18. When my change began at the age of 58, 59, I seen the end of life. I seen the end of life. I was running a very high risk of dying in prison. I've seen many, many, many people die in prison. I didn't want to be a statistic and die in prison. I wanted better for myself. I knew that I was better than what I was giving myself. I felt it internally. I knew it from the very beginning that I started my incarceration, that I wanted better for myself. However, my biggest challenges all throughout my prison time was peers, the wanting to have acceptance, the fear of rejection. Fear really kept me trapped in the lifestyle that I was living in prison. One of as a Mexican on those yards, there's very very higher expectations of you. Either you're with us or you're against us. It's kind of concept, and that kind of instills fear in you. You don't know if it's real, but you don't want to take the chance of it not being real, right? You don't want to take the chance of it being real, I should say. Uh, my time in solitary confinement, one of the big things I would say is related to fear, and to show you how powerful it was. So I spent 26 years in solitary confinement, like I said, for gang validation. I was validated as a gang member, and I was in solitary confinement, removed. I was deemed the worst of the worst while in prison. I was ready to die on the shelf, what we call living. I felt I know what it's like to be a living dead, walking, living, but yet dead to society, not knowing I'm never going to get out, right? And the scary part of it is that fear kept me trapped there. So the slogan that the CDCR uh, 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 instilled in us was you either parole, snitch, or die. Right? Those are the only ways that you're going to get out of solitary confinement: parole, snitch, or die. And I held uh, the fact that I was a lifer. I was never going to parole, at least, especially while in solitary confinement. I was not going to parole. Snitching was totally against my belief system at that time. So all I was left with dying. I resigned to that. And that's based on fear, the fear of wanting better for myself, the fear of making choices for myself, as opposed to allowing others to make choices for me. The fear of rejection, not wanting to be rejected by my peers. Why was it so important to me? Because I had already reached a point in my life, my parents, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, many of my siblings, many of my cousins, they all passed on. Very, very, very few family members that were out there. And those that I did have, being that I was in solitary confinement for such a long time, I had become very, very distant of them. By design, by design, not of my design, but of the system, I had became so distant from my family members, my spirit to break my spirit in efforts to break my spirit and feel alone, that I was felt desperate to and asking for help. Uh, I had no one left other than those that were I was surrounded by those that were in the same situation I was in. It goes back to the concept, misery loves company, and we all just found company in each other, and we all accepted the fact that we were all going to die there, and there was no other way about it, right? And like I said, it really came down to, had it not been for the hunger strike, I would have still been there. Had it not been for the many many supporters like you all, right? Had it not been for the internet, the hunger strike, supporters like you all, uh, in the court system that found it, that we had established a case of injustice, of cruel and unusual punishment. The Ashker case. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Ashker case, but the Ashker case is the case that got me released from prison. And I was one of the first ones released from prison. I mean, not from prison, from solitary confinement. I was one of the first ones released from solitary confinement because I was one of the longest ones in solitary confinement. So because they deemed it cruel and unusual punishment, they restarted releasing those that were in prison the longest. I mean, in solitary confinement the longest, because of the punishment or the inhumanity of the treatment that was imposed on me. So I was released in 2013. I continued in my behaviors up until 2017. And then 2017, like I said, I wanted better for myself. I was, my dad was on his deathbed, telling me that he was holding on to life for the last chance to hold me, hug me, uh, see me free, and then knowing my own self in my back of my head, I'm telling my father that I loved him, and I'm coming home soon, pops. Don't worry about it. I'll be home. Hang on. Knowing in the back of my head that I was still behaving in a criminal way. I was still conducting criminal behavior. I was still acting in that criminality. I was still doing everything I possibly could to keep myself in prison. And it came to a realization that how much do I truly love my family and my father if I'm going to continue doing this behavior and at the same time tell him I'm loving him and he's holding on for me. So really these realities came to me. And then, like I said, the straw that broke the camel's back was the fact that when I did the math, when you look at the life expectancy, which I believe is like 78 of them for a man, that was it. That was my number. 78 as a man. I was approaching 60. I counted 18 more years left in life, and that was probably 5 years of convalescence. So, including those years, I looked at myself as maybe having 11, 12 years left of life. And I needed to make a hard decision, and I made that decision to choose me, And I tried to do it, and I did it my way. I simply chose me and started getting involved in groups. And anybody that ask any questions of me, hey, look, if you love me, if you care about me, you support me. And that's what I and that was my approach to the gang, and the life that I live. I mean, I gave them 42 years of my life to the system, to the gangs, to all that behavior. I knew that there had to be a point where if anything was going to change, I was going to have to make a hard choice. I was going to have the courage to choose myself and love myself enough to do so, and that's what I did.
And you got, well, I want to go on. Thank you, Tomas. Did you not have parole? You always had parole, or how did you actually
Well,
get?
yeah, I was a lifer. I was served at 28 years to life. And when you're a lifer and you're conducting and you're behaving and picking up committing 115s disciplinary infractions, then you're just digging yourself a hole, and you're going to continue to be there. Especially the kiss of death is a gang validation, and I had prison gang validation that was going to really keep me in prison. Absolutely.
So how did you end up getting out? I didn't. Was it because of
So,
that clause you mentioned?
well, like I said, so the case itself, the Ashker case, got me out of solitary confinement, something that I didn't have the courage enough to do on my own. So it got me out of solitary confinement. Like I said, I made the decision to choose myself. What I did is I chose. So what they did is I'm not sure if many of you have ever heard of this, but they've got a policy in the CDCR now is override transfers, right? So no matter what your point level is, which I had the extremely high point level, they're willing to transfer you to a lower custody prison on a behavior override. If you're behaving yourself and not getting involved in anything, so I earned a behavior override. I went to a level 3 prison from a level 4 prison. I went to a level 3 prison. I went to CMC, and kudos to you who showed up to CMC. Uh, I'm a graduate of the OMCP program from CMC. I don't know if you heard of it, but the OMCP program there at CMC is a very powerful group. I went to CMC, a prison that was deemed it was frowned upon by all prisoners. CMC was a prison that nobody wanted to go to because was looked at as a prison where the people, a prison that housed rapists, child molesters, snitches, and all those beliefs that prisoners hold that they deem no good. I made the decision to go there because I knew that going there was going to prove to them that I was no longer that old person, that I was willing to have put myself in a situation that all my peers would look at as a bad thing. So I chose to go there. And like I said, if nobody supported me, I really believe that they didn't love me or care about me in the first place. because when you serve 42 years in prison, hey, when is enough, right? So I mean, I spent my entire life in prison. So I went there to CMC. I got involved in programming there at CMC. I don't know if any of you have heard of the LTOP program, long-term offenders program. I completed a extensive therapy there. I got involved in extensive therapy there, every forms of therapy that you can imagine, years and years of therapy. And then I also signed up for a very stringent vetting process of the OMCP program. They don't just allow anybody become a mentor of the population there. You have to go through this really stringent, really, really strict vetting process. I cleared that process. I was accepted into the OMCP program and I graduated. And those were my ways of proving change, that I was no longer part of the gang, as opposed to like debriefing and snitching and all that stuff. Like, not that I think it's bad or good, but that I felt like that's the way I wanted to do it, a way I could look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, I did it my way. And hey, whatever anybody thought about it, that was up to them. But nonetheless, those were the ways that I ended up getting myself out. But not only that, but the key thing to me was really understanding what was motivating my behavior. Why was I doing the things I was doing? And it all came down to beliefs, really, in the end of the day. Beliefs, life experiences that developed, where I developed beliefs that was flawed. I thought 2 + 2 was 8. I would have argued until I was blue in the face that 2 + 2 was 8. And then when somebody there at CMC showed me that 2 + 2 was 4, I knew that I would have been a fool to continue saying 2 + 2 was 8. So I grasped on that 2 + 2 is 4, and I ran with that as far as I can go. I went into that board hearing. I had 6 board hearings, by the way. I went to the Lyford board hearing. I went to 6 of them, and on my sixth one, I finally got it. I was able to connect the dots. I was able to, with the help of many, many people. There's one saying that we have in CGA. We change our lives through through those that trudge the path of recovery before us. It's step 2, by the help of others who trudge the path of recovery before us. That's how we do it. We pass it on to others.
Got it. Well, I don't know. Did we just lose him?
Looks like.
Yeah, maybe he'll come back. But yeah, actually, I was going to ask, because now, yeah, Sol, if you could share for 5 minutes, and then Lee, and then maybe with 5 minutes wrap up. And then if anybody wants to stay and listen to our planning meeting, you're invited. You might not be that interesting to you, but you're invited. And again, if you haven't registered, the link is in the chat. But yeah, Sol, would you take it for 5 minutes, and then we could give 5 minutes to Lee, and then we could just, we could transition to our other meeting. Oh, go ahead, Peg.
I just put a timer on for 5 minutes.
Okay, I apologize that you're limited, but go ahead. But you'll have time in the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not no, I appreciate being able to speak in the conference, and really what's amazing is that everything we just heard is exactly what I feel like needs to be taught to everybody. And with I took MRT, which kept me out of prison. MRT did, and what it did is it did that very thing and helped you realize how you were thinking, how you were created. And I just in being able to develop it a little better for myself, because the getting out of the lockup is just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning. And then when you're living your life and things are hard, like it's so easy to revert back to the old programming. I need money, I should go sell dope. All I have to do is make a couple of phone calls. I might not even have to touch it. All that same program, and then you factor in a family and all that stuff, and it just becomes so strong, and you want to succeed so bad. And so then just realizing what my idea of success is, and what my idea of making it is, and what all the thoughts that I had, and then bringing it to another level of being able to ground into my physical being and be like, oh, I feel this way, and being in touch with my feelings, and then the program or the stories that I tell myself about the way I feel, which then help drives my behavior, so on and so forth. There's like so much, is so deep. And so then what's really driving me is that I know there's so many people out there right now that could benefit from really understanding themselves on a deeper level. And then on top of that, being able to couple this type of programming with like job training or career training, or as my wife would put it, you clarify who you are and what you want, so that when you engage in what you want, you can actually be successful in it because you understand who you are. Does that make sense? Not who you were, not what the world was telling you. I'm a con, not that I'm a con or I'm an addict or I'm a failure to society or I'm black and I'm marginalized and all that. Like, really, none of them titles are me. I'm Sol Santos. That's who I am. And then my life and how you see me walk and how you see me operate, that's me. Whatever title people put on me, I don't even want it. I don't associate with that, because I am now the master of my own life. And I just want other people to realize that they can do it too, you know? And if I can be that, if I need to be that voice or be that, whatever, that light, that soul, that light, the illumination to this fact, then that's what I'll be. Right. But and all in all, it's because I've never been so happier. And it's not like the struggles are gone. They're still there. You still got to pay bills. You still live in this society, and there's things happening in the world that but what I focus on and how I polarize to what's going on in the world is all different now, so that I can remain a happy being. And a high vibe is what I call a high vibe being, as in being able to understand the world on a much wider perspective than this. I'm a criminal. It's them against me. And like Tomas said, especially, the white people, they've been enslaving us, and it's just a government. It's just another way for them to try to control us. So why do I got to listen to what they got to say when they're out there and the governments are doing worse than what I'm doing? You get what I mean? And playing that same old story in my head. And then the only person that really suffers is not the government, it's me. And so it's just not enough time to really explain everything and how it goes and everything. But all in all, I just want to empower people to be who they truly are within themselves and connect themselves to their mind, body, and soul, the three very important aspects of being in existence in life. And when they are in balance, your life is in balance. And if you understand how to put them in balance, then that's really, you're the one. You got to be your own guru, period.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move, let's have Lee have the final. And welcome, Robert. Lee, give it the final 5 minutes before we move into our other part of the meeting for half an hour.
I don't remember what the question was about.
Well,
to
the
be honest.
question is for you, I think, since you addressed it, it's what are the challenges and how are you dealing with those challenges now that you're out? How long have you been out?
Since March the 8th, 2019.
Okay, so 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, what are the challenges? You mentioned some challenges and how are you facing them?
My challenges are the cruelty of people and jobs. It's hard to get a job being a black man and ex-convict. For instance, like October, I was expecting to go work with AC, did the interview and everything, bought my clothes, everything. And then they found out my background, it went way back on my background. I think that's a challenge for not only a black person who's ex-felon, but anybody who's been in prison. And I think that's a challenge that could be eliminated. And I mean by that, we need people to represent us and to get at the federal government that people like me, Sola, and other people have these opportunities to work with these companies without them going all this 1,000 years back to the day I was born. See what I'm saying? When there's evidence to prove and show that I have been rehabilitated as an individual. I had my security guard call. I went through, it was trying to get nabbed, and people that knew me wrote letters, and I wrote letters, showed my all the achievement I made in prison, for a head. The commissioner went back and said, here's your call. We don't need no hearing. That's the kind of opportunity that should be in all avenues. And another thing I learned, to be a nice person on job, people are cruel to you. It's like they don't have no respect for a person being nice to people. But I keep in mind, I'm there to put 8 hours in and go home. But like I said, there's all kind of things that I faced many times I cried since I've been out here. But I have people who are my support system. The 1,000 Mile Club people, Tracy Skiro and a lot of other people, despite our distance, but they're my support system, and I mean a lot. And one of the things, one of the guys was talking about, when you lose somebody in prison that died, that is very, very terrible, painful. So challenges always be challenging in life, but I learned that it's unnecessary challenge when people make things difficult for you. And that goes back to being expert and not able to get jobs, But fortunately, I'm able to get jobs. They're not paying enough money, because I worry about keeping my head above water, you know what I mean? Like I'm a block away from being homeless, you know what I mean? I don't want the cat lights and all this other stuff I did before I went to prison. I just want to have a normal life, pay my bills, my taxes, stuff like that. But like I said, people are cruel out here, but nevertheless, I'm not gonna say, you know what, F this, I'm going back to my old ways. Nope, because I don't want to be back there. I know incarceration or the life of incarceration is worse than the stuff I'm experiencing out here. Because the most important thing, I'm here because I love myself. Being in and out of prison because I wasn't loving myself. I wouldn't been doing things that caused me to be arrested and sent to prison. So I love myself now. And because of it, I'm able to deal with all the challenges. It's not easy. And I don't expect it to be easy. But the most important thing, that I don't give up. And I also learned I got to do this for me. No matter how much I love my mother, my father, and brother, I got to do it for me. Because many years ago, I was told, I love my sister, my brother, my mother. The most important, I didn't love me. How come I know I didn't love me? Because the way I was living, that led to my incarceration. Now I'm not have to look over my shoulder. I ain't got to worry about the police knocking on my door. I ain't got to worry about nobody involving me in a crime because I'm not involved in all that stuff. So the whole point is, I'm trying to make, it took me a long time to realize I did not love me. And not just that, it took me a long time to realize I've been serving two gods, good and evil. When I wasn't breaking the law, I was giving people money, doing nice things. So I'm saying, and that helped me realize that's why I keep going around a circle in prison, because I'm trying to serve two gods, good and evil. I'm here now because I don't serve two gods. I serve good now. You know what I mean? I might not go to no church, this and that. My demonstration of God or of that goodness is by not causing harm to people. If I'm not committing crime, if I'm not misleading young people to commit crime. That's how I worship God.
Thank
by
you.
doing what's right.
Yeah, I got that, Lee. Thank you so much. So I appreciate it. I appreciate, all of us who've turned our lives around. Thank you. It's much better to be out here with all the challenges than definitely locked up. So we're gonna turn this meeting over into a planning meeting. I would think you might want to leave the new folks because it's going to be, but you're invited to stay, but it's going to be planning this conference. We're not kicking you out, but we are going to move into a different orientation. So, and you can leave anytime you want. If you want to stay and see what it's about, and then you feel like, ooh, what are these guys talking about? You're invited to just leave the call. But we got to start moving because we have a lot of stuff to do. And I thank you for being here, Sol. You want to we need to
Neil,
move on.
Can I ask Tomas, one quick question. Tomas,
Sure.
are you able to go back into prison?
Yeah, I have I've been into Tehachapi, and I'm hoping to go into other prisons here soon.
Well,
But
Judy and Dave and I are going to Pelican in January, so I'm putting it out there. We'll talk further.
okay, what if I put my contact on the chat
Good,
before I
thanks.
leave? Would that be good?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Uh,
Your phone number and email, and this way.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And those of you that don't lose contact with me, Peg can also help you contact me as well. God bless her, right?
And are you three registered to the conference? You're going to join us?
So I know for me, I have other commitments on
Okay.
the 23rd, so I won't be able to make it. I'm gonna try to I registered, so I'm gonna try to plug in here and there
Okay,
throughout
good.
the
So
day.
at least you have a link. Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
If
Thank
if
you.
I may add, Lee, I goes into the prison and Tracy could vote to that. I went in one time with them. I've been inside St. Quentin about 6 different times. You know, and you guys who've been there, if you could go into prison, that would mean a lot. You know,
Thank
especially
you.
us who got a body history, you know, to inspire the guy. You know, like I said, Tracy could vote for me. We went there together. Matter of fact, I was in there last week. You know, and
Awesome.
they got a marathon coming on the 15th. I'm scheduled to go in again, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go that day because I might be working.
Thanks for
But
doing that.
thanks for having me. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you all.
Thanks,
Right.
Lee.
Thank you.
I hope to see you maybe on the 23rd, Lee.
I'll
But
send you
okay.
the link to register, Lee. Timbuk.
Oh yeah, well Tracy is good. Notify me. She keep me up, give me the heads up if I'm available. Yes, on the
All right.
23rd.
Good. Awesome. We
All
can
right,
always
thank
count on Tracy for that.
Well,
All right.
Judy, you want to take it away?
Yeah, let's thank you. That was phenomenal. That was great. I really appreciate the visitors coming in and sharing. It really makes it real. Yeah.